y'all. I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we're about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, guys.
We is here.
We are back.
We are back. This is Bloody Happy Hour.
Bloody Happy Hour, guys. We are your true crime comedy podcast.
I am so glad you said the comedy part because we're real funny.
I always thought that too.
And
this is what we need y'all to do for us.
Okay.
Obviously, you need to listen to this podcast. You're going to get some comedy. You're going to get some side stories. You are going to get some crunching of some ice because, hello, it's happy hour, y'all. We got to, drink our drinks. Here's what we need y'all to do. Rate, review, and subscribe.
When you do, we will read them over the air.
Live.
Can I read a couple?
Oh, why, sure.
It's from a subscriber. I really enjoyed the first episodes. April and Caroline go hand in hand like Crown and Coke. Look at that. Who's the Crown and who's the Coke, I wonder?
That's a good question.
Crime isn't funny, but they make it so interesting and keep you giggling. Love their personalities. Thank you, a subscriber. Do you want to read one?
Oh, sure. I'm going to say it in the voice I think I heard it. This is how I read it. I hope they hit their stride soon. Remember, the mic picks up every sound. In the second episode, you can hear ice rattling in the glass.
Guilty, guilty, guilty.
Someone sniffling their nose the whole time.
Guilty, guilty, guilty.
And someone chewing on their ice.
Oh my God, strike 3 for me.
Podcast 101 tells us not to chew into the mic. This show has great potential. Just be yourselves and stop trying to be all of the other true crime podcasts out there.
Well, I hope I'm not trying to be anybody. But
I always like to be other people, so.
That is your goal.
So I'm doing good.
That's from Frank K. Hick. So thank you, Frank. Or Fran K. Hick.
Yeah. I mean, it is funny because all those things are true. But listen, April has real bad allergies and Texas has real bad allergies. And she sometimes has uncontrollable crunching of ice disease. Okay, boo. I'm going to crunch the ice even more now.
I will read one more.
I'm surprised nobody said that I need to either stop whispering or stop screaming because I do both.
Because she went from one extreme to the other.
I'm sorry. I just get excited.
Okay, one more. This is from Joe Teague. Love this podcast. First, the hosts are so real. You feel like you're just hanging out with them. Second, how have I never heard of this serial killer? I live in Waco. Can't wait for next week. So, thank y'all.
Love you.
And we have some more to read, but we'll just read those, later as we're recording episodes. And send us some more so that you can be famous when we read it.
True. Okay. Tell us what the news is.
So, y'all will hear this in a couple weeks, but the girl who did the Slender Man stabbing, I think it was in 2014, is now getting out of her mental health institute.
Okay. Can you give us a recap on it?
Well, I don't remember a lot, but yeah, so basically she was 12 years old. They were all 12 years old. She had a sleepover and she was obsessed with the Slender Man, and Slender Man told her to stab her friend. And it wasn't just it was multiple stabs. Her name was Geyser. Geyser. And somebody lost their daughter because of it. So she's been in this home. And I bet she just turned 18.
Okay. And Slender Man is fake. Like, it's not even a real thing, right?
Yes.
He's a fictional, supernatural character.
Yes. We got to tell them what we did. I mean, if they watched it, but Bloody Happy Hour Home Edition was really fun.
Bloody Happy Hour Home edition.
Shout out to Fangirl Cheryl.
Cheryl, #1 fangirl.
So we didn't record last week because...
By the way, she sent us an email. We should have read that email. That's so rude. We did not read her
we'll
email.
read it at the end.
Okay, we'll read it at the end.
So we didn't record last week, but we did Bloody Happy Hour Home Edition, and she just hooked us up.
She put us in her home. She ordered like all this amazing food. She had all this setup. We had couches. We had signs. We had
Yes.
decorations. I mean, we were like, there was basically a red carpet.
I think there was. And top of the line tequila and
Yes.
blood orange margaritas.
Blood orange. Oh, I mean, she did it up.
So thank you, Cheryl.
Yes.
We will do that again.
Oh yeah.
It was
And
just
even
fun.
If
We didn't
you-
tell a story. We just did a teaser of today's story
We did.
and last week's story.
We sure did.
So last week we had Family Annihilator, Christian Longo. This week, can you tell us? Are you ready yet?
Yeah. Oh, I'm ready because so I was doing one of my other jobs last weekend and I was just looking at what the latest. Actually, they were subscribed to. I was at a house doing a dog sitting thing. They were subscribed to Discovery Plus, which
Oh,
has all
I've
the
been
true
seeing
crime
that.
and like Peacock. And I just keep hearing ads about Peacock and Discovery Plus. Anyway, so I went and I searched through them, and there was this episode. Oh, I think it was on my Instagram. I sent it to you. It was this episode about the Hart murders, Hart.
Uh-huh.
And it was where there was a lesbian couple who had adopted 6 children, and they ended up, in a way, killing all the kids
Yes.
by driving off a cliff.
Oh, I've heard that story. I've heard that story.
So I sent
That-
I
okay.
think I sent it to you. I vaguely remembered it, and then I was watching it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is." I really wanted to change. I wanted to say, "I wanted this for Family Annihilator."
Oh, we can make it a full month of Family Annihilators because I'm a little
That
obsessed.
was a crazy
sad.
story, but it's a lot of information.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can go into a lot of detail or you can cut it out, but it is
It was sad.
it's crazy. It just and a lot of it has to do with CPS.
Yes.
And I know I have a friend here who worked for CPS, and there's, some sketchy situations that kind of happen there. But I think there's just a lot of things that, like, they said there's a national, like, sex offender database, and there's a national something else database, but there's not a national, like, somebody who's been
Uh-huh.
charged with, like, crimes against children or whatever.
Right, because you can just move to another state and you're clean.
Yeah, because so these ladies the kids were from Texas, and they lived in like Minnesota or something. I don't know if it was Missouri, something that was,
Started with M
I think it's hard with an M.
or another. It's just
It was
not
just
Texas.
a
And so
far-
sometimes we don't pay attention if it's not.
Yeah,
Texas.
so it was like a faraway state. But the point is there was not a way to like track, because apparently the people who adopted the kids had like maybe either some mental health issues or
Yes.
some previous issues with other kids that they had adopted, but there was no knowledge of that to the place that they adopted them from in Texas, so they didn't really know, and there was no database.
They kept them in
So-
the house. And remember, like I remember where the kids would get out of the window just to go get food
yes,
from like a neighbor.
to the neighbor, trying to
Like,
get bread,
jump out
trying
of
to
the
get peanut
window,
butter.
yeah.
Yes. Okay, if you're a skipper and you've skipped ahead, it's time to stop skipping.
Right now.
We're getting to it. First of all, familicide.
Familicide.
That is not a product you use to kill bugs in your house. Okay, so familicide is a type of murder, just in case you didn't know. It's a type of murder or murder-suicide, which a perpetrator kills multiple close family members in quick succession, most often children, relatives, spouses, siblings, or parents. In half of the cases, the killer lastly kills themselves in a murder-suicide, which would be
Only
the Hart
half.
family. But yeah, only half. And if only the parents are killed, the case may be referred to as a parricide, where all members of the family are killed. The crime may be referred to as family annihilation. That is from Wikipedia, and I just wanted to make sure y'all had the definition, just so you knew.
Thank you for that.
You
Wikipedia.
are welcome. Okay, so let's get to it, people. Robert Fisher. Does anybody know who he is? No, I didn't either. But let me just tell you, he is on the... Oh, I should have posted that. I meant to post that picture. Okay, he's on the FBI's most wanted list. Still, this incident happened.
20 years ago, right?
20.
Yeah.
So this was it was on April 10th, 2001. So a giant explosion, okay, happened in the home of in Scottsdale, Arizona. That's where they lived 2 decades ago, which, yes, that was 20 years ago. I figured that out.
There you go.
But yeah, so there was this huge explosion, and at the time, police didn't know if there was anybody inside, like what's going on. There was several 911 calls. I watched this episode. I watched a little bit like the news episode. They did a story on it, and I listened to a few of the 911 calls, but there was just like tons of calls. So it's like you're in this neighborhood and all of a sudden this house explodes. It's not like just a regular fire. It's a boom explosion. So it was like a big, like giant deal. It was loud. People heard it from all over. It kind of reminds me of the West explosion, as far as like my cousin, like there was an explosion in West, and then my cousin's in like Waxahachie, which is about like an hour north. They felt it.
Yeah.
But I was 30 minutes, 25 minutes south, and I didn't feel it. So I guess but that's kind of what it reminded me of. It was like,
yeah.
How do you feel the but yes,
we felt it right down the road.
Yeah. So it was a big enough explosion to where like people down the road and whatever could feel this big explosion. So firefighters come in, like the police didn't know if, who was inside, what's going on, what's the deal. So they all go there. The firefighters found the body of 38-year-old wife, Mary. This is the third Mary that we have had in episode. So we have 38-year-old wife, Mary, 12-year-old daughter, Brittany, and 10-year-old son, Bobby. And there's no sign of the father, Robert Fisher. And inside the home, police weren't even sure if, like, Robert even knew the explosion had happened. They didn't know if he was at work. There was no sign of him anywhere. So they soon found out. They started looking in once they got the fire out, which took a while. They found that they would name Robert as the lone suspect by tracing his steps to an ATM that was in Scottsdale, which is where they lived. And it was the night before that, once they started investigating, they found like on April 9th that Mary, which is the wife, her Toyota 4Runner was spotted at an ATM. He like went to the ATM to withdraw like $280.
Yes, not a lot of money.
Yeah, like a random amount of money, and saw her car in the background video. And from then he just disappeared.
Wait, where was the family dog?
Oh, just wait.
Okay.
So based on the physical evidence, the police speculated that the previous night, Robert had waited for his family to go to sleep. I know I shouldn't laugh at this next part, but I'm always laughing and like trying to have fun. So Robert waited for his family to go to sleep. He then shot Mary in the back of the head, execution style, slit her throat, and slit Brittany and Bobby's throats as well. So he slit his whole family's throat. This is allegedly. This is, well, this is what happened to the people.
No, that's evidence.
Yeah, that's not allegedly. But he then disconnected the house's furnace from the gas connection, and he used a candle to rig the house to explode the next morning.
Oh, maybe when the candle burns down?
Yes, so he killed them and then he wanted the house to explode, like leaving it to detonate hours after he left town.
He has experience.
So, okay, just wait. So more gasoline was also placed in bedrooms to, I guess, like ensure like the crime scene would be destroyed, and he hasn't been seen since.
Okay.
Okay. So this all happened the 10th. And then they realized that the night before is when they found the video of him at the ATM with his wife's car and him taking $280 out of it. Investigators believed that Robert was like, he had multiple sides to his personality. Because I was going to say, do you ever really know someone?
Never.
I mean, do you even know who I am, April?
No. I don't know how many personalities you have. I don't know what you do when you go home every day. You don't know what I do when I go home every day.
Yeah.
So we think we know.
I mean, you may have no idea who I really am, but I mean, let's be honest. I'm really bad at lying because I always would forget what I even said. So I couldn't be like a giant liar. But we do know some people who could be.
Yes.
Just like that. And who could be this one way that we see them, but then you have no idea what their life is, and then something comes out and you're completely shocked.
Yes.
So this is kind of how they thought that Robert maybe ended up to be. Robert is the father.
Yeah. Yeah. So he acted one way around people, but behind closed doors, he was really nasty.
Yeah, he was kind of nasty.
Was there abusiveness?
He was a little, controlling. So, okay, hang on. I'll get into that.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't right, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.
After the ATM, they went and looked at the ATM, they got that video. It was about 10 days later that they got like a tiny little clue. All right, it wasn't much, but it was about 100 miles north of where they were. So they were in Scottsdale, Arizona. So Arizona has all these, or this part of Arizona has a bunch of caves. And he was into hiking. He was into hunting. He was into a bunch of outdoorsy stuff.
Okay.
It was normal for him to, like, he and his wife would get into fights maybe, and he would like take off for a couple days and like just go hunting and just kind of get away.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be abnormal for him to go and maybe go hunting or maybe do something outdoorsy, blah, blah, blah. So what's crazy is they did live in California. That's where he was a firefighter. He was a firefighter.
So he knows what to do with fire.
He was a firefighter, but listen to this. This is where it gets real sus. He had a back injury, which forced him to stop being a firefighter.
Okay.
So obviously he's been a firefighter for a very long time. If you have your like passion, what you like, that's your thing, and it's taken away from you, maybe it could be a trigger. So he was a firefighter and he had to stop doing that because he got injured and he couldn't do it anymore. So then they moved to Arizona.
Okay.
And that's when he started working at the Mayo Clinic. He started to become a surgical tech. I mean, I feel like he's pretty smart. So the family was also pretty involved in the church.
Okay.
In Scottsdale. So they moved to Scottsdale. He starts working at this clinic and the pastor, from what I've read, the pastor said that the wife, Mary, was really involved in the church and she served on the children's ministry. And then she also said that Robert would go to the men's group every Tuesday night. And I was like, oh. So this makes it very hard for people in town to even think that he could do anything like this, because they're like, he's a good guy. He goes to church. He does this. He works. He's doing all the things. But apparently they had this like really intense relationship at home, and neighbors would hear him fighting, and neighbors would hear this and this. And I mean, they were on the brink of divorce, and like Robert just vowed to do his own part. Well, remember I mentioned he had a back injury?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I guess his back injury started acting up. So he was like, I need to get some massages.
Oh. Did he go to a happy ending?
He may have gone
Did
to
he come to Waco at
He
ours?
might have gone to some happy ending massages in Waco.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, so he was going to these massage places to get massages to help his back because it was bothering him. And he actually ended up going to his wife and telling her that he was cheating on her because he said because he got a UTI.
It's weird.
It's weird because it was like
an STD?
No, it wasn't, because I
know, but was it really an STD?
No, that's what's weird. Anybody can get a UTI from whatever, but
so he didn't need to confess.
He didn't need to. No, he didn't.
But that's his way of making sure, like, acting like he's doing the right thing. I feel guilty. I have a conscience.
Yeah.
I'm going to confess. But really, he didn't.
Yeah. So it was like, that was like a weird thing and everything. So he does that. So they're arguing. So that's, I mean, whatever happens, that he ends up saying that and they're fine, I guess. But I mean, they're still fighting a lot and he's going in and out. So it was how many days later? 10 days later, they ended up finding his wife's 4Runner just like in the woods. It was completely wiped clean. And the dog, the family dog, was sitting on the outside of the car, just like kind of almost like guarding the car. And there was no sign of Robert.
Nowhere. No sign. And there's like speculation that there's like this, there is a cave system. So they're like, well, is he in a cave? Like, is he not in the cave? Did he kill himself? They couldn't find any evidence of that. Yeah. So he's just gone.
Literally like he disappeared. I mean, he did disappear. There's stuff coming out now and they're like, is he dead or alive? Is he dead? Like, nobody knows. Is he escaped? Did he escape to a cave? You can't be living in a cave for 20 years.
I read somewhere that he took a big shit in the front seat. Did you see that?
Oh my gosh, no.
Because it was like, why wipe down the seats and like the whole car, but then take a big poop?
Was it in the car?
I read somewhere that was in the car.
So he parked his car out in the middle of nowhere in a forest and wiped it. It's completely wiped clean. Like, there's nothing. Why are you even wiping it clean? What is it? Like, obviously we know that that's your car.
Yeah.
We know that's your car. That's your family car. That's Mary's car. That's your wife's car. Why do you need to wipe it clean?
I don't know.
And then you're going to poop next to
gasoline?
It wouldn't be gasoline. I don't understand.
Because he poured gasoline in the house, didn't he, to make the fire? So, but this is 10 days later, so it's not even it's still on his hands.
I think he's like, haha, you're looking for this. I'm going to just put it right here and I'm going to make it.
No evidence. Well,
I think he had some kind of side piece besides his masseuse that was like ready for him to like get rid of his family and pick him up. And they went to like
wherever,
freaking
Aruba,
and they killed Natalie Holloway. There we go.
So you think he's dead? You think he's in Aruba, but before
I
did you think he was dead?
No, I don't think he's dead. I think he's alive, living his best life in some foreign country.
I think these are the pictures like you need to have. I used to. This is how obsessed I was when I was younger. If there was somebody wanted, and especially if they're local in Texas, and the picture was like in the paper, I would cut the picture out and tape it to my steering wheel. If y'all remember when the Texas 7 escaped,
Wait, you have pictures taped to your steering wheel?
I had a picture of the Texas 7 on my steering wheel, but I think just because I was like this, like, I don't know, it was right out of high school, and I was a student, and I was broke, and I wanted that $50,000 reward. So I was like, if I see these mofos, I'm just going to smile, and then I'm going to call the police and wait around the corner.
7 people taped to your steering wheel?
Yeah, because they all escaped together from prison.
Oh, hey.
But they ended up in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
That was a cool story. But I did used to. So this is a picture that we might want to have taped to our steering wheel. Or if you're going on vacation to these amazing places with mountains, because he's not going to go to a beach, I don't think, because he loves hiking. Or maybe he wouldn't, because that's where people are going to look for him at. But has there been any sightings or anything?
There was like random sighting in Dallas.
Oh, I did see that. Okay.
And any of the sightings have been like dismissed by the cops and stuff. Like it's been like, nah. But there's $100,000 reward, so I would tape that shit on your steering
I'm
wheel
putting it
like
on my
right
steering wheel.
now.
Just he's not cute at all. Like he does not look trustworthy. But I do remember hearing about one sighting where like maybe an old friend or a neighbor walked in and saw him and like saw a scar.
So he has a scar on his back and he has a missing tooth. And there was somebody that said they spotted this dude with a missing tooth and a scar on his back who looked just like him, but then the police said no.
They questioned him. Oh, because they did fingerprints.
Oh,
and the fingerprints didn't match.
And then somebody was like,
Can you
alter your
I
fingerprints?
Think you can do anything.
I mean, I can alter my fingerprints, I'm sure.
Right now.
How do you alter fingerprints?
I would think you would
You
burn
gotta
them.
burn that? I ain't trying to burn my fingertips.
But you are if you're wanted.
You just put your fingers on the hot stove?
I don't know.
That's gonna hurt. I
ask
think you
Robert
should test
Fisher.
it out, April.
Oh.
Test it out this week and let
My
us.
fingerprints are
April,
legit.
test it out this week and let us know how it feels next week.
Stay tuned next week.
Stay tuned for April's fingerprint experiment next week.
So, Robert Fisher, he still wanted.
That's Robert Fisher. He's wanted. Tape. This is what you have to take away from the story. Tape a picture of Robert Fisher on your steering wheel. Steering wheel. On your steering wheel.
So, that was a quickie.
Was it? I mean, the story was a quickie,
We talked for a little bit, but.
but I don't even think that time was working.
So, Family Annihilator Part 2. We're deciding right now if we're going to continue with Family Annihilation or if we're going to like pause and then pick up something else. But I do have to tell you about a story that I'm scooping myself, researching right now, and I'm reading the book, of course, but my book club.
Do you read so many books? When do you read books, and how long does it take?
Well, today, like I was just sitting at the beauty shop and I was reading the book in there. When Sweet Pea's driving me, I read the book. Or at night, instead of turning on Netflix, sometimes I'll read my book and fall asleep. It makes me
do you
feel real grown
actually
up.
have a book?
Yes.
You don't use like a
I don't like
whatever
because
electronic thing. Yeah, I don't. Either.
I have to have like highlighter and Post-its and because I'm like noting and marking like what I want to include and
Oh my god!
when I write up my story.
You're living your best life reading books.
I think I'm real grown up.
I am so childish with not reading books, but I'm real old with doing puzzles.
Yeah.
If you thought the puzzle I'm doing right now is real terrible, I can't figure it out, and I basically stopped and I'm pissed because it's taking up all the room on my table.
The time you spend on puzzles, you could be reading a book.
I don't have no time now. I have 17 jobs.
19. So it's over. It's a Texas / Mexico.
A Texaco?
a Texaco murder, but it ends up being multiple murders, and they end up uncovering a drug / black magic / satanic cult.
I love cults.
This one's kind of scary. Like, I shut the book today. I was like, I can read some stuff, but I shut the
You
book.
didn't send me like a picture of the. You did not.
It wasn't visuals. It was just like people are evil. When you bring in like devil and demons and black magic into it, like, I don't like to play with
So you don't want to
that.
bring out the Ouija board on one of these?
No, never.
I'm
I do
just
not
kidding.
play like that.
No, I don't either. I don't either. I ain't even trying to do that. Listen, the most I'll do is go in. I won't even do this. Go and say Bloody Mary in the mirror.
Oh, no. Or
With the lights off.
Candyman. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. And then on deck is also our collaboration with some of our former trainers.
Oh, we got a good one. Go, God, it's gonna be good.
We're going to cover
Prepare to be entertained.
the Missy Beaver story.
That's right.
She was a fellow coworker and friend of our friends that we are bringing on.
And she was murdered in cold blood.
Yes, and it's unsolved.
It is insane.
Yeah.
Everything. Because
Yeah.
we actually, I mean, we know, like, we've lived her life. We've worked with her.
It made getting up for camp in the mornings at 5 a.m. a lot different. Like, you're a
Yes.
little bit more aware.
She did the same. We did the same thing she did for years.
Yes.
And it was very relatable. And we just were like we're still in shock about it.
Yeah.
Like, it was.
I still like Google it randomly just to see if there's any updates. And I follow all the pages, but it's a sad story. But we're going to be able to tell it from a different view because we did it. And
We
a lot
did.
of us were with her that weekend because we were at
That's true.
that conference.
Yep.
So stay tuned for that. So there's two good things. Mark Kilroy, a court case, and then so sad. I'll have a lump in your throat on that one. And then Missy Beavers, so sad. But that's coming along with so much more. Do not forget, y'all, RRS. What does it stand for, Caroline?
Rate, review, subscribe.
Yes. Follow us, email us, do all the things.
Stay aware.
Stay alive.
And always be DTF.
Peace out.
Bye, bitches.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Frozen, Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach,
And I'm Mike.
and we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros, Foes, Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Frozen, Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't rap, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.